Welcome to the exam sale video on VMware vSphere 6 Foundations. In this video, we will cover the syllabus of the exam, highlighting the key areas you need to focus on to pass the exam. The VMware vSphere 6 Foundations exam is divided into 7 domains, each with a specific weightage. The domains are Install and Configure vCenter Server and XC hosts, Establish and Maintain Availability and Resource Management Features, Configure and Manage vSphere Networking, Configure and manage vSphere storage, deploy and administer virtual machines and vApps, monitor a vSphere implementation, and perform basic troubleshooting. The first domain, Install and Configure vCenter Server and XC hosts, accounts for 25% of the exam. This domain focuses on the installation, core infrastructure setup, and initial environment configuration. You will learn how to identify the components of a vSphere environment, determine the appropriate vSphere edition based on requirements, and explain the role of the Platform Services Controller. In this domain, you will also learn how to compare and contrast vCenter Server Appliance and Windows-based vCenter, identify vSphere integration with other VMware products, perform a clean installation of XC hosts, deploy the vCenter Server Appliance, and configure vCenter Server inventory and hierarchy. The second domain, Establish and Maintain Availability and Resource Management Features, accounts for 20% of the exam. This domain focuses on cluster management, high availability, and workload balancing. You will learn how to configure and manage vSphere HA clusters, define admission control policies for HA, and identify vSphere fault tolerance requirements. In this domain, you will also learn how to enable and disable fault tolerance on virtual machines, determine appropriate HA and FT settings for specific scenarios, configure distributed resource scheduler clusters, create and manage resource pools, and define VM host affinity and anti-affinity rules. The third domain, Configure and Manage vSphere Networking, accounts for 15% of the exam. This domain focuses on standard and distributed switch configuration and maintenance. You will learn how to create and configure vSphere standard switches, configure standard switch port groups, and identify VSS security and traffic shaping policies. In this domain, you will also learn how to configure vMkernel networking on a standard switch, manage physical NICs and NIC teaming on VSS, understand the limitations of standard switches, create and configure vSphere distributed switches, and migrate virtual machines between VSS and VDS. The fourth domain, Configure and Manage vSphere Storage, accounts for 15% of the exam. This domain focuses on storage types, data store administration, and storage policies. You will learn how to identify shared storage types, configure ISCSI software and hardware adapters, create and manage VMFS data stores, and mount and unmount NFS data stores. In this domain, you will also learn how to perform data store increases and capacity management, identify storage multipathing and failover policies, describe virtual SAN concepts and architecture, identify virtual volume components, create and apply VM storage policies, and manage storage I/O control.